most civilized people are out of touch with reality because they confuse the world as it is with the world as they think about it and talk about it and describe it.
But those people, as an aggregate, make an entity that is judging your reputation constantly.
I don't hear what anyone else has to say.
There's a meta person that's watching you.
Now, obviously.
Well, yeah, there is.
Out there.
It's like a meta person that's watching you.
In the sky.
And you have to contend with that.
All right, now that's the first.
You know, and you can multiply that by millions of examples.
There is the real world, and on the other, a whole system of symbols about that world which we have in our minds. These are very, very useful symbols. All civilization depends on them.
You can't even conceptualize it.
Now, it's amazing what doesn't exist in the real world.
That's chaos.
And we won't give it a name.
Chaos.
Reality is... It means that it is a marvelous system of wiggles.
And then that place that you're magically in, when that happens, that's chaos. It's not real the way a scientific truth is real. It's a different kind of real.
In the real world, there aren't any things. For example, particular groups of stars in the sky.
Your story falls apart.
That is actually a philosophical concept.
It's a metaphor.
And all the rest of the universe is nothing more than an idea. And that's one of the things we discover when we stop.
Animals are beyond good and evil in that sense, but humans...
If I say that reality is spiritual, that's also a philosophical concept.
And it's an appropriate conceptualization. It's a meta-conceptualization.
And reality itself is not a concept.
It's a useful metaphor.
I remember when I was a boy...
When the towers fell, when the Twin Towers fell, and you realized that it was your fault, and that you did something wrong, and that you knew it and you ignored it. Because the people who are most like that are people who don't think they're like that at all.
Most of us.
And you need to know that you're like that, because you are like that.
And to that I have a very simple
You're
answer.
even more like that than you think. You know that you are.
That is to say...
And you know what you're like. You know, a lion will eat you.
It doesn't exist.
Well, it eats you. It just wants to eat you.
Is a concept.
And, you know, you could call that evil. It sucks.
Well, we can understand.
Genius.
If I talk all the time...
It's possible.
Shut up.
A world in which that could happen should not be.
Because you see...
And the suffering that entails, and its arbitrary and unfair nature.
Tomorrow never comes.
It's a good argument.
There is no such thing as tomorrow. There never will be.
Obviously. So...
As the proverb says, think compulsively all the time.
It's got a point, man.
And what that requires is...
chaos. And chaos is what you don't understand at all.
And I'm never in relationship with reality.
I already told you that there are different ways of conceptualizing real.
They are not.
Pain is the most real, and the reason I believe that is because
it brings us into a state of peace.
So the most fundamental reality is chaos.
And exactly the same thing is true in meditation.
That's the worst form of chaos.
It's funny then, isn't it, that one meditates for no reason at all. And therefore, if you meditate, we are not aiming to arrive at a particular place on the floor. The journey itself is the point.
And that stretches across a very long expanse of time. And
essential principle.
You do what you're supposed to do to get what you want, and it doesn't happen.
And meditation is the way in which we come to feel that meditation is supposed to be fun.
And that's a descent to the underworld. The problem, as far as I can tell, is that if you act that out just for the fun of it...
You are not meditating.
Pretty straightforward.
Well, meditation, when correctly done, has nothing to do with all that. We do it because it's good for you. It's a kind of self-punishment. To improve your mind, to improve your character, to be more efficient in life, you've got your eye on the future.
And I think that's because the fundamental dominance hierarchies in human primates are masculine.
It is so mixed up with grim duties.
You know,
basic reason for meditation.
You know, and you can multiply that by millions of examples.